First up, news related to COVID-19. Union government deputes 30 additional secretaries and joint secretaries to assist state governments in effective management of coronavirus. 147 positive cases of the virus in India, including 25 foreign nationals and 3 deaths. 14 cases of recovery registered till date. Entry of all foreign tourists in Kashmir banned. Centre advises all ministries and departments to install thermal scanners at entry of government building as feasible and mandatorily place hand sanitizers at entry points. Entry of visitors to the office complex to be discouraged to the maximum extent possible and hold meetings through video conferencing. World continues to combat COVID-19 as the global death toll due to the deadly disease nears 8,000. Strict travel and entry restrictions put in place by majority of countries. European Union imposes entry ban for 30 days while death toll in US mounts to 100. Death toll in Italy crosses 2,500. Sri Lanka decides to stop all flight arrivals at Colombo Airport. Spain, Colombia, Malaysia and Canada seal borders. In some other news, India rejects reference to Jammu and Kashmir in joint statement by China and Pakistan. Says Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India and issues related to it are internal matter of India. New Delhi also strongly objects to projects in so-called illegal China-Pakistan economic corridor, which is in the territory of India that has been illegally occupied by Pakistan since 1947. Supreme Court to hear plea filed by former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chouhan, seeking direction to Kamal Nath government to undertake floor test to prove majority in State Assembly. BJP meets governor asking for ban on appointments and transfer. And in sports, COVID-19 outbreak hits sporting arena hard as Euro 2020 is postponed by a year until 2021. Continental tournament will now be held from 11th of June to 11th of July next year. Second Grand Slam of the year, French Open, also postponed to September. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rahman. As the battleground against COVID-19 expands further, we take a look at all the latest developments in the spread and containment of the deadly virus. The total number of active coronavirus cases in India has risen to 147, which includes 25 foreign nationals. 1 case each has been recorded from Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand and West Bengal. The total number of 14 persons have been cured and discharged. Meanwhile, 3 deaths have been recorded so far. The highest number of 38 confirmed cases has been recorded in Maharashtra. The centre has advised all ministries and departments to install thermal scanners at the entry of government buildings as feasible and mandatorily place hand sanitizers at entry points. It has also been advised that entry of visitors to the office complex must be discouraged to the maximum extent possible and meetings must be held through video conferencing. And the government continues to put in place measures to restrict spread and to control COVID-19. Union government has deputed 30 additional secretaries and joint secretaries to assist the state governments in effective management of COVID-19. Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla reviewed preparations in states bordering Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. The Home Secretary video conference with officials from UP, Uttarakhand, Bihar, West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland and Meghalaya. Issuing new guidelines, he emphasized on 24-hour monitoring and screening. The government has stopped travel from Afghanistan, Philippines and Malaysia to India with immediate effect. The additional travel advisory adds to the earlier restrictions of 11th and 16th March. Archaeological Survey of India has ordered closure of all monuments and cancelled permission to shoot films photography and cultural events in its premises until 31st March. All national sports camps have been suspended except camps of players preparing for the Tokyo Olympics. Meanwhile, the ICMR has said that 72 labs are doing testing currently. This has been further augmented with 49 labs of the Department of Biotechnology, CSIR, DRDO and government medical colleges. And the BJP has decided not to hold any protest or demonstration for the next 1 month in view of coronavirus. BJP National President JP Nadda said if the party has to give any memorandum, 4 to 5 party office bearers will give the memorandum to the concerned officers or the political leader.
पार्टी ने ये निर्णय लिया है कि अगले 1 महीने तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी किसी भी तरीके का जन आंदोलन नहीं करेगी, न ही किसी प्रदर्शन में भाग लेगी। कोई अगर विषयों के बारे में चर्चा करनी होगी तो 4-5 हमारे वरिष्ठ कार्यकर्ता संबंधित अधिकारी को ज्ञापन देंगे, लेकिन आंदोलन से अपने आप को दूर रखेंगे, धरना प्रदर्शन से अपने आप को दूर रखेंगे। ऐसा आज निर्णय लेकर के सभी प्रदेश की इकाइयों को सूचित कर दिया गया है।
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar last night met immigration, health, security and airport officials of Delhi airport who are responding to the COVID-19 challenge. The minister in a tweet mentioned that India works because countless Indians do. Night or day, rain or shine, thank them for their exceptional effort in these difficult times, that too with great courtesy and a warm smile. After news reports surfaced that nearly 300 Indian nationals, including students, are stranded at the Kuala Lumpur airport following cancellation of flights, Union External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that the central government has arranged flights for the stranded nationals to return home. In a tweet, he appreciated the difficult situation of Indian students and other passengers waiting in transit at Kuala Lumpur airport. He also said, I quote, the government has now approved AirAsia flights to Delhi and Vizag. These are tough times and you should understand the precautions. Please contact the airline. Indian Embassy in Rome is doing all possible within its limited resources and despite the current lockdown to support and assist more than 300 Indian students in Rome and nearby areas. In a series of tweets, it said their swab tests have been taken over the weekend and reports are awaited. We have explained to them that what the next steps would be. We assure the students that the embassy is committed to ensuring their safe return. At this difficult time, we request all students to say no to panic and yes to precaution. The Indian Embassy in Washington too is in touch with the Indian crew members on board the coronavirus-stricken Grand Princess cruise ship and is extending all necessary assistance to them. India's ambassador to the United States, Singh Sandhu, in a tweet said, we are in touch with shipping company and US authorities regarding welfare of the Indian crew on the Grand Princess. The crew is required to undergo mandatory quarantine. He further tweeted that the Indian Embassy is extending all necessary assistance and will facilitate their return to India on completion of the quarantine. The Grand Princess, which circled at sea off the coast of California for days before docking at the port of Oakland, finally began setting sail Monday morning to a spot in San Francisco Bay. The ship will anchor in the bay for 2 weeks with 75 medical workers brought on board to care for the 340 crew members and 6 foreign passengers during the 14-day quarantine. As many as 21 of the 2,500 passengers of the Grand Princess had tested positive for coronavirus. According to the United States, more than 500 of the 1,100 crew members have disembarked over the weekend and returned home. Union Railways Minister Piyush Goyal held a meeting with general managers and divisional railway managers and took stock of the preparations in view of COVID-19 in the railways. He took stock of the precautionary measures undertaken by the railways in trains and stations to combat novel coronavirus. All state governments are also taking necessary steps to deal with COVID-19. All public places in Rajasthan will remain closed till the 31st of March. A full ban has been imposed on more than 50 people gathering at a place. It has been decided to keep all tourist spots closed from 18th to 31st of March. The UP government has decided to close all educational institutions in the state till the 2nd of April and postpone all examinations. The government will appeal to all religious leaders of the state through the district magistrates to stop gathering in temples, mosques, gurdwaras and churches. There is also a complete ban on any kind of picket demonstration in the state. All cinema houses, multiplexes, gyms, tourist spots of the state will also be closed till April 2nd. Himachal Pradesh government has prohibited entry of devotees to all Shakti Peeths across the state. Jaishankar Jyotirling near Pune was closed after the 3 o'clock Aarti yesterday afternoon. The Jammu and Kashmir government has banned entry of foreign tourists to Kashmir as a precautionary measure in view of the coronavirus outbreak around the world. Advisor to the Lieutenant Governor Bashir Ahmed Khan has issued necessary orders in this regard. Secretary Tourism, Director Tourism and DCs have been asked to ensure implementation of the order with immediate effect. While various state governments have announced disinfecting buses and public transport, Delhi Metro and Indian Railways are also conducting cleaning and sanitization process. Over 1,86,000 passengers who have returned from coronavirus affected countries have been screened at Delhi airport till date and placed under surveillance. The total coronavirus cases in Delhi now stand at 8. As many as 4,458 passengers from the coronavirus hit countries were screened yesterday. Meanwhile, South Delhi Municipal Corporation has decided to shut its Waste to Wonder Park at Sarai Kale Khan and Nandanvan in Greater Kailash till March 31st in light of the pandemic. Mayor Sunita Kangra and Chairman of the Standing Committee of SDMC Bhupinder Gupta yesterday also took a high-level meeting to review preparedness and precautionary measures taken by SDMC to contain coronavirus. To contain the spread of COVID-19, more quarantine facilities are being set up at different secluded places by the government. Our correspondent Meghna Dev took stock of one such center set up at Narela on the outskirts of Delhi. The facility not only abides by quarantine protocols, it also has set up a round-the-clock assistance and surveillance system.
As of now, there are 100 beds that are completely ready, and 100 more beds capacity will be added. We have 24/7 presence of doctors. 4 teams of doctors are available at all the times, apart from their paramedics and sanitation staff. We are also providing our caretaking facilities, food, all the 3 times breakfast, lunch and dinner we are providing.
Stock markets are trading in red after an initial jump in the opening session. Equity benchmark Sensex surged over 500 points in opening session today amidst the coronavirus scare. Currently, the Sensex is down by around 400 points at 30,165.58, while the Nifty is down by over 100 points at 8,846.05. Elsewhere in Asia, bourses in Shanghai, Hong Kong, Seoul and Japan were trading on a positive note. However, investors were still on edge as fear of an impending global recession is leading company heads to plead for billions in government help to prevent them going under. And Vice President Venkaiah Naidu today underwent thermal screening before entering his room at Parliament House. Thermal screening has become mandatory for all members of Parliament in view of COVID-19. And Europe moved into near total lockdown on Tuesday in a bid to halt the rapid spread of the deadly COVID-19. From France to Germany and Spain, millions were confined to their homes as shops and restaurants closed and borders were sealed. China reported just 1 new domestic case on Tuesday, but numbers are ballooning across Europe with the pandemic infecting close to 2 lakh people and causing almost 8,000 deaths worldwide. Italy on Tuesday required anyone entering the country to self-isolate for 14 days unless they are only stopping over for 72 hours or can prove that they must show up for work. The measure will stay in effect until March 25th. Italy has recorded more than 2,100 coronavirus deaths and nearly 28,000 infections. In Spain, officials from the Spanish military unit in full protective suits, masks and gloves sprayed disinfectants in hospitals in Oviedo to stem the spread of coronavirus. Cleaning officials were also seen in Madrid spraying disinfectant on roads, pharmacy entrances and cafes. The government reported 182 new fatalities, bringing the total to 491, making Spain the country with the world's fastest rising death toll after Italy. The number of people infected has risen to 11,178. Across France, all citizens were ordered to remain indoors after President Emmanuel Macron declared a war on the outbreak. People are only permitted to leave their homes on a limited basis, like to buy food or for health reasons, and must carry a document declaring their outing. 175 died due to coronavirus in France so far. Belgium will impose a lockdown from this afternoon until the 5th of April to restrict movement of people in order to contain the spread of coronavirus. Belgian Prime Minister Sophie Wilms in a news conference said travel within the country will be limited to visits to supermarkets, pharmacies and banks or for cases of emergency. Belgium reported 185 new coronavirus infections on Tuesday, bringing the total to 1,243. 10 people have died so far. In Argentina, long-distance trains and buses and internal air transport will be suspended from Friday midnight until March 25th. Argentina has already closed borders and ordered tough isolation measures to slow the spread of the respiratory illness. Argentina has recorded 65 confirmed cases of the virus and 2 deaths. EU leaders agreed on Tuesday to close Europe's borders for 30 days to prevent the spread of coronavirus. The 27 countries bloc, however, suggested to establish fast-track lanes on the country's frontiers to keep goods moving. After a video conference summit, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told media that it would be up to European countries to implement the closure of their borders to citizens from third countries. Following the EU crisis video call, the German Chancellor announced immediate plans to close the borders to all non-EU, EFTA or UK residents. Angela Merkel said the EU's decision to prevent the further spread of coronavirus had been unanimous. She urged people to only follow official advice on the coronavirus situation, warning against fake news online.
If we want to send a strong signal that we are going to decisively work to minimize the economic effects which are going to occur anyway, then the free movement of goods and wares needs to definitely continue.
Aus Ländern, die weder der Europäischen Union
And states are shutting down restaurants, bars, gyms and schools to try to stop the spread of novel coronavirus, which has now killed at least 107 people in the US. There are at least 6,420 confirmed cases in the US with COVID-19 affecting all 50 states, Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. And meanwhile, the coronavirus pandemic has pharmaceutical companies working against the clock to develop a vaccine and treatment to combat the disease. Arcturus Therapeutics is one of the companies developing a potential vaccine for coronavirus and aims to use a single shot. Through a single shot, the company aims to build tiny spikes as visible on the coronavirus so that the body of the patient builds up an immune response and protects us from the real virus. Meanwhile, US drug maker Pfizer has signed a deal with Germany's BioNTech SE to co-develop a potential vaccine for coronavirus using BioNTech's mRNA-based drug development platform. The drug makers will start the collaboration immediately and have signed a letter of intent for the vaccine's distribution outside China. Self-isolation and tension are on the rise as coronavirus continues its global offensive. Britain was the latest nation to lock down. Morning traffic was sparse on Tuesday, a day after Prime Minister Boris Johnson shut down social life in the country and ordered the most vulnerable to isolate for 12 weeks. Meanwhile, UK Finance Minister Rishi Sunak has said he wants to give the country's businesses all the tools he can to help them make it through the pandemic as severe social restrictions become advised. UK correspondent Stuart Smith reports from London.
All of these measures designed not just to try and increase confidence in the economy, but to genuinely support individual people who either fear for their jobs or individual businesses who fear for the future of their business. But Rishi Sunak went even further. He said that if the £330 billion is not enough on its own to both protect the National Health Service and to keep businesses afloat, he will spend even more. A phrase he kept using over again: he'll do whatever it takes to keep the UK economy going during this trying time.
Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison today declared a human biosecurity emergency. The formal declaration gives the government the power to close off cities or regions, impose curfews and order people to quarantine if deemed necessary to contain the spread of the virus. Australia has recorded nearly 500 coronavirus infections and 6 deaths so far. The UAE Ministry of Health and Prevention announced 15 new cases of COVID-19, bringing to 113 the total infection tally in the country. The newly confirmed cases are all in a stable condition and receiving all required health care services. All those in close contact with the confirmed cases are being screened to avert spreading of the disease and ensure public safety. The ministry advised the public to adhere to preventive health and personal hygiene protocols to prevent the spread of disease and to read the awareness instructions and refrain from spreading rumors. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa requested Sri Lankan nationals who had returned from other countries to act responsibly as the number of COVID-19 cases rise to 43 in the country. The president, that's President Gotabaya, also said the biggest problem right now is around 2,000 travelers who entered from high-risk countries for about 2 weeks before Sri Lanka actually started the quarantine process on the 10th of this month. He said 16 new quarantine centers have been established now, and around 2,000 travelers had been directed to these centers. Earlier, Sri Lanka decided to stop all flight arrivals in the country from tonight in a bid to counter COVID-19 crisis. The ban on passenger flight arrivals will be in force for a week. However, departure, transit and cargo operations will continue. The World Bank has announced increasing to $14 billion the amount of fast-track financing to assist companies and countries in efforts to respond to the rapid spread of COVID-19, adding $2 billion to the initial package. The bank has said that the package will strengthen national systems for public health preparedness, including for disease containment, diagnosis and treatment, and support the private sector. The World Bank Group is committed to a fast and flexible response based on the needs of developing countries. The coronavirus pandemic has wiped out most of the world's major sporting events, as dozens of international events are being cancelled or postponed around the world amid the outbreak. In the series, Euro 2020 has been postponed by a year until 2021 because of the pandemic. European football's governing body made the decision during an emergency video conference involving major stakeholders on Tuesday. The continental tournament was due to take place from 12th June to 12th July this summer and will now run instead from 11th June to 11th July next year. The postponement provides a chance for European leagues that have been suspended to now be completed. The French Open has been moved to September and October as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. The event at Roland Garros was due to be played from 24th May to 7th June, but instead will take place between 20th September and 4th October. That means it will begin just 1 week after the completion of the US Open in New York. All professional tennis across the world is currently suspended until at least 20th of April. Amidst the coronavirus scare, the importance of sanitation to prevent the spread of disease has gained newfound importance. Apart from observing extreme measures involving social distancing and self-quarantine, it has been learned that simple hand washing can go a long way to curing the spread. Indian shuttler PV Sindhu has taken the Safe Hands Challenge, asking Sports Minister and others to take it forward. And Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju was quick to respond to Sindhu's challenge. He took to Twitter posting a video in which he is seen washing his hands.
We wash our hands properly all the time and also spread awareness. Coronavirus is an issue which we must not take it lightly. Never forget to wash your hands properly multiple times every day.
Following the trail, sprinter Hima Das also took the Safe Hands Challenge and urged people to wash hands properly and regularly wherever they are.
जहाँ पे मौका मिले आप लोग उधर ही हाथ सफाई से धो लीजिए। ऐसा नहीं सैनिटाइजर से ही हाथ धोना है, साबुन से भी अच्छी तरह से हाथ सफाई कर सकते हैं।
And well, a very important and pertinent message there that we here at DD News would like to reiterate for the safety of all our viewers out there. Sanitize, not sensationalize. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.